Afghanistan border spans about 2,600 kilometers, cutting across some of the world's most inhospitable terrain. From the snowbound Wakhan corridor in the north to the sandy plains of Baluchistan in the south, the frontier cuts through mountain ranges, river valleys, deserts, and densely populated tribal regions. These steep variations, combined with limited infrastructure and harsh weather, have long hindered effective monitoring and created hundreds of informal crossing routes beyond state control, making the border one of the hardest frontiers to manage in the region. In contrast to the Pakistan-India border, where despite deep historical and cultural affinities, movement became heavily restricted after the 1947 partition, the Pakistan-Afghanistan border has retained a degree of ethno-cultural permeability. Even today, local communities continue to cross it for commerce, marriage, and seasonal migration. The historical realities embedded informal routes, smuggling networks, and militant safe havens, complicating modern attempts at establishing a formal regulated border. Recognizing the strategic and security vulnerabilities of an unregulated border, Pakistan has undertaken comprehensive border management measures since the mid-2000s. Key initiatives include physical fencing and fortification. Pakistan has fenced almost the entire border using double-wire barriers, reinforced with 1,400-plus forts, checkposts, surveillance towers, and observation posts manned by the Frontier Corps and Pakistan Army. Technology and surveillance deployment of motion sensors, CCTV systems, night vision devices, and UAVs has strengthened real-time monitoring in critical sectors. Border Facilitation Centers, BFCs, established at formal crossings such as Torkham, Shaman, Gulam Khan, and Angkor Adda. These centers now use biometric systems, vehicle scanners, and customs automation to process legitimate traffic efficiently. E-Visa and Border Pass Regime Pakistan introduced digital documentation and border passes for frequent travelers, ensuring traceability without disrupting local livelihoods. Coordination mechanisms, establishment of border coordination centers, BCCS, and flag meetings between Pakistani and Afghan commanders have improved, albeit inconsistently, tactical-level communication. These measures have reduced illegal crossings and militant infiltration to some extent, yet the human and political complexities of the region limit the full realization of their impact. On the Afghan side, consistent border management has been hampered by decades of political will and instability, weak institutional capacity, and fragmented authority. Prior to 2021, coordination with Pakistan was filtered through NATO and US-led structures, with joint border coordination centers established in Kunar, Nangarhar, and Kandahar. Post-2021, under the Taliban regime, institutional control has weakened further. Lack of will, resource shortages, lack of trained personnel, and internal divisions among Taliban factions have restricted their ability to enforce uniform policies. Only 250-plus checks posts exist on Afghan side of the border, as against 1,400-plus on the Pakistani side. The absence of a comprehensive customs and immigration framework, coupled with poor infrastructure, means the Afghan side often remains dependent on informal economic activity. A major impediment to effective border control is the entrenched politico-narco-criminal nexus operating across both sides of the frontier. Afghanistan remains the world's largest producer of opium and increasingly methamphetamine. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, reports that hundreds of small labs in Helmand, Farah, and Nimroz convert the local shrub ephedra into crystal meth, known as ice. The surge in production has created a new trafficking corridor running through the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Traffickers use traditional smuggling routes through Helmand, Kandahar, and Nangarhar into Pakistan's Baluchistan and Khyber regions, from where drugs are routed to Iran, Gulf states, and East Africa. Afghanistan's local warlords, militant commanders, and corrupt officials profit from these illicit flows, ensuring that any tightening of border control threatens their economic interests. Whereas on the Pakistani side, criminal cartels and political patrons involved in fuel, narcotics, and goods smuggling form a parallel power structure that resists stricter enforcement. This nexus effectively constitutes a shadow economy worth billions of dollars annually, one that undermines state authority, distorts local governance, and fuels militancy. Any border management strategy that ignores this informal system is bound to remain ineffective. Beyond criminality, a spectrum of structural issues complicates border management. Refugee movements. Pakistan has hosted over 3 million Afghan refugees for decades. Each wave of conflict, Soviet invasion, Taliban takeover, or regime change triggers new influxes, overwhelming border towns and humanitarian infrastructure. Tribal loyalties and cross-border identities. Many tribal families straddle both sides, making enforcement politically sensitive. Restricting movement risks alienating local communities and fueling resentment. Resource constraints, harsh weather, mountainous terrain, and dispersed populations make consistent patrolling expensive and logistically demanding. Political volatility. Diplomatic tensions often spill over into border closures or skirmishes, disrupting trade and humanitarian traffic. Institutional mistrust. The absence of a joint legal framework or mutually recognized border agreement perpetuates uncertainty and operational confusion. Loose or inconsistent management of the Pakistan-Afghanistan border has far-reaching consequences. Terrorist infiltration facilitates cross-border attacks and movement of terrorists' networks such as FAK and Al-Qaeda affiliates. Narcotics and arms smuggling fuels organized crime, finances insurgency, and undermines legitimate economies. Economic losses. Informal trade denies both countries billions in customs revenue annually. Humanitarian strain, unregulated migration, burdens local services and exacerbates urban poverty in border districts. Diplomatic friction. Frequent blame games and retaliatory closures erode bilateral relations and regional cooperation. The cumulative effect is a persistent security dilemma, where neither country fully benefits from its own enforcement measures due to the other's instability. Globally, even technologically advanced states have failed to achieve completely impermeable borders. The US-Mexico border, despite massive investments in fencing, approximately $20 billion, patrols, and drone surveillance, still sees hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings annually. The European Union's external frontiers, particularly in the Mediterranean, struggle with migrant influxes despite digital monitoring and naval patrols. Israel's border wall with Gaza and the West Bank, often cited as an example of high-tech control, has not prevented infiltration through tunnels or drones. These cases dispel the myth that any border can be hermetically sealed. The realistic objective is not total closure, but managed permeability, enabling legitimate human and commercial exchange while deterring illicit movement. To transform this historically volatile frontier into a zone of stability and cooperation, both Pakistan and Afghanistan need to pursue a multi-dimensional strategy. Institutionalize bilateral dialogue. Establish permanent joint border commissions supported by intelligence and customs coordination mechanisms. Integrate technology, expand the use of AI-based surveillance, satellite imagery, and biometric verification systems to monitor crossings. Promote legal trade corridors, encourage cross-border economic zones, and transport agreements under frameworks like CPEC and CASA 1000, reducing incentives for smuggling. Strengthen counter-narcotics cooperation. Collaborate with UNODC, Interpol, and regional platforms to dismantle trafficking syndicates and monitor precursor chemicals. Leverage international support. Engage the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, and OIC frameworks for capacity building and intelligence sharing. The Pakistan-Afghanistan border is not just a geopolitical frontier. It is a historical, cultural, and strategic fault line that encapsulates the region's deepest complexities. True border stability will emerge when both states view the frontier through the lens of mutual security, economic integration, and shared human development rather than unilateral control. In the 21st century, the question is no longer whether borders can be sealed, but whether they can be smartly managed, jointly secured, and regionally aligned to serve peace rather than conflict.